Hey there, this is Cat Wells from the Cat Wells Blues Band. You're listening to CKMS 102.7 Radio Waterloo. Stay tuned for more great music.
I'm doing this work as we can't just pray anymore. We must now. I need to get right into this message so you feel where I'm coming from.
The people are standing together, there's power in numbers. We will not follow you want us, we learning the laws you throwing upon us. You throw us in water, we notice piranhas. The people they needing a leader, just know that I'm on it. I'm honest in everything that I do. Every word that I write is true. The people that get it, they know that the picture is bigger. So pull up a seat and you listen, you put in your fist in the air. You know the resistance is here. You'll hear us off in the distance. We are the kids that you dismissed. We are the targets you just missed. We are descendants of healers and chiefs. Just know that our struggles are brief. Just know that we one and the same. I'm from the prairies, the plains. I'll go my hell until I can read it again. I'm no longer ashamed. I promised our people our hardships will not go in vain. You're hearing my voice in the melody, carry the pain. I do not do this for money or fame. I just want to be me. I just want to feel free. Is that too much that we ask? Look to the future but learn from the past. I know that sometimes we clash. And it's just life. Chances ain't handed out twice. I'm out of my word and I'm out of advice. I just wanna feel free. We just wanna live our lives. We don't wanna have to worry. Tell me, can you help me? It don't seem like you've been in a hurry. You're playing judge and jury. I feel I'm under siege. Get the matches, burn the sage. Chapters over, turn the page. Author of my destiny, but they telling me differently. We just wanna live our lives. We don't wanna have to worry. Tell me, can you help me? It don't seem like you've been in a hurry. I just wanna be me. I just wanna feel free. That's what we've been doing the most. I pack my suitcase and move to the coast. I promise the next time I come to the city, I'm bringing hope. I'm bringing you, and it's bigger than music. Together we started a movement. Together we stand, we shaking the earth as we move. And as soon as you look for the answer, you see the solution. Our minds are as clear as the water as soon as you see the pollution. We want the freedom and not the illusion. We are the warriors, the ones that you read in the stories. We are notorious. I just wanna be me. I just wanna feel free. We just wanna live our lives. We don't wanna have to worry. Tell me, can you help me? It don't seem like you've been in a hurry. You're playing judge and jury. I feel I'm under siege. Get the matches, burn the sage. Chapters over, turn the page. Author of my destiny, but they telling me differently. We just wanna live our lives. We don't wanna have to worry. Tell me, can you help me? It don't seem like you've been in a hurry. I just wanna be me. I just wanna feel free.
When I say protector, you say planet. Protector, land. Protector, land. When I say water is, you say life. Water is life. Water is life.
My name is Dakota Bear and my spirit name is Blue Thunder. I'm from unceded, unsurrendered lands of Treaty 6, and we are now situated on the unceded and unsurrendered lands of the Coast Salish peoples.
Look yeah! Sorry about that. So you guys are listening to CKMS 102.7 FM radio, and that was Dakota Freedom. We are Two White Feather, Lori Gentle Eagle. We got Cedar, and we cannot forget the other three, Rufus, Rogue, and Arrow. This is a Red Road journey where we aim to amplify Indigenous voices to heal ourselves, our relatives, our communities, and like Dakota Bear said in the Freedom song, our planet. We are broadcasting you from the traditional territories of the neutral Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee peoples. And I gotta say, that song's meaning pretty good. And as an update now, we're going to be packing our bags pretty soon, and doing some good too. So that'll be come up for more details. We have a few options here coming up, so we'll probably be packing our bags pretty soon, but we'll probably still be in Ontario though. But yeah, so big and exciting news there, because we can get a lot more done in these other communities that we can do here, where it's just a damn roadblock. And, it's happening sooner than later. And, I'm very proud of this. I'm actually taking this on the positive side instead of thinking of the negative side on what's been happening with us, with Lori, Gentle Eagle, my support person, me, my support pup, and the 3 other kiddos, So, yeah, like Dakota Bear, he said he packed up his bags and went out west and did some good. We might not be going out west, like I said, we'll be staying in Ontario, but we will be moving soon and we will be doing some good. So,
today on the Red Road Journey, we are reflecting on second chances and the healing power of forgiveness. From a decolonized and indigenized perspective, forgiveness involves the following key components: acknowledging that harm has occurred, apologizing in a sincere way, taking responsibility for actions that have contributed to the harm, demonstrating a commitment to change, and actively repairing damaged relationships while rebuilding trust. It is a critical step in the healing process for people who have been wronged and for those who have caused harm, because it has the potential to bring emotional, mental, spiritual well-being as we let go of the heaviness. So we are no longer carrying wounds in our hearts. But, and there is a but, forgiveness, it is not a requirement. And for some, that in itself is healing to hear. For Indigenous people, the legacy of colonialism and the deep wounds and complex challenges can stand in the way of forgiveness and often take people off course on the red path. Looking to elders, community leaders, family members for cultural guidance can be a way, however, of getting back on track. And we're going to read an excerpt from a contribution that Indigenous writer Andrea Landry wrote. And this is from The Radical Power of Indigenous Love. So I'm just going to read from that now. And she says, "My mother was a revolutionary. She lived her life authentically, expressing exactly who she was and exactly how she felt, even in moments that society deemed inappropriate. And that meant she felt everything as powerfully as the fire that burned inside of her. And she loved as fearlessly as the wounds that fell from her tongue every day. She was a living, breathing example of all mothers and grandmothers who have upheld Indigenous insurgents, claiming a place for themselves in systems that were seeking to terminate them. Because of this, my mother knew struggle as deep as the land. She inherited it from her father, my Mishomis. He had learned how to be a parent from the teachers who mistreated him at residential school, which was filled with dysfunction, addictions, and abuse. My mother struggled as a parent, as her father had, and raised me from this place of colonial pain. But underneath all those layers of trauma, loss, sadness, and violence, she was the uprising of authentic Indigenous love. I knew that before I became a mother, it was vital for me to find that place of Indigenous love within myself. I made the commitment to heal my relationship with my mother so that we would end this cycle of discord and abuse. I needed to ensure that my future children would have the opportunity to grow in a space of Indigenous love and to know that Indigenous kinship practices are the answer to healing our families. That meant that I had to dig through generations of colonial pain that had become ingrained within my genetic makeup. At times, the pain, anger, and frustration were unbearable, but all that I went through and all the work I have done means that my daughter will know the truth of Indigenous love. My mother's anger imprisoned me as a child. I realize now that her shaming tactics were the same tactics my Mishomis experienced at residential school. There were many fights with name-calling, threats, and physical violence. Sometimes, if I showed emotion, she'd spit on me. Other days, she'd shame me, and each time she blamed her father. "I am so sorry," she'd say afterwards. "He did the same to me," or "he did worse to me." The abuse escalated until I got away at the age of 18. University was my savior though a superficial one. I loved my mama wholeheartedly, but the pain that seeped through my upbringing was too much, and ultimately it followed me to school. Self-medicating with alcohol and drugs helped me cope, and so did being in a relationship. Yet because violent love was the only love I knew, I fell into an abusive relationship. And for 3 years, I endured name-calling, threats, and physical violence from the boy I thought loved me. At the time, I had a practicum placement at a community center working with young people. While I was preaching sobriety, healthy relationships, and self-love, I was living the exact opposite. I had to make changes. It was time to dissolve every ounce of toxicity in my life. Little did I know things would get worse before they could get better. I left him and changed my phone number, yet one night he found me, and he came into my home and violated me. For hours afterwards, I scrubbed myself in the shower and cried. Then I made a decision. I was not going to be a victim any longer. I sobered up. I sought out traditional Indigenous ceremony. I listened to Anishinaabe-Moan, my mother's tongue, and decided to abandon my role as victim in my relationship with my mother. After one particularly abusive phone call, I told her I was done. Ultimately, I divorced my mother and any societal expectations and ideals of what a mother-daughter relationship should be and notions of what a mother is. Over the next year, we both sought help. We prayed hard to our ancestors, the ones who left before us, to Gitchimanitu, the great creator. We both healed, and the most powerful thing about it was we didn't know that we were both doing it at the same time. I was 22 when I really saw my mother. I called her one evening after not hearing her voice for such a long time. "Hi, Mama," I said. We sobbed uncontrollably, talked for a long time, and made plans to see each other. The mother I was talking to was brand new, so full of life and love. She too had healed from her past. And my mother ultimately saw her daughter, who had also healed from years of colonial pain. Forgiveness was difficult. Forgiving my mother also meant I had to forgive the generations of abuse that colonialism, my goodness, sorry about that, had inflicted upon my family. It meant forgiving ourselves for holding on to our rage and developing toxic behaviors to deal with it. It meant forgiving my Mishomis for harming my mother, and it meant forgiving myself for accepting toxicity and abuse from others. But it was within that forgiveness that I birthed my own revolution. Once I forgave my mother, our lives became a series of memories that will be spoken about long after we go. The road trips, the ceremonies, the smell of smudge every morning when I stayed with her. We tried to make up for lost time. 5 years later, when I told her she was going to be a Nokomis, a grandmother, she cried with joy. When she heard the heartbeat during a prenatal visit, she cried so loud the whole clinic heard her. "Chimikwich," she said over and over again. "Thank you very much." Her excitement was infectious. She would speak to the baby, her head at my belly, when I wasn't even showing. I'd laugh, embarrassed, and she'd laugh, sing, and speak to the baby growing within me. My mother's presence in my child's life was going to be a gift. Then everything shifted. One evening when I called her, she told me she had a really bad migraine and needed help. I knew it was something more. My anxiety peaked, and I called my uncle. He rushed her to the small local hospital, and they airlifted her to Thunder Bay. The last words I heard my mother say were, "I'll call you back. I'm going to be sick." She'd had an aneurysm that erupted. She was brain dead and on life support by the time we arrived. I made the difficult decision to take her off life support, following through with her wish that she not be on it for longer than 24 hours. My mother taught me to celebrate life and to love, even in times of deep, deep pain. So, that is what we did, with a 4-day celebration of life, with fireworks, food, friends, fun, and tears. She taught me that to grieve is to love, so I grieved and I loved. There I was, 19 weeks pregnant with my first child without my own mother. I cried, I yelled, I howled, I prayed, and I smudged. I sang all the Anishinaabe songs she taught me. I let all my pain out so my child wouldn't feel it. My heart was broken, but I mustered all the energy I could and envisioned love completely surrounding my baby. And I made the grieving process a part of my daily ritual for the sake of the well-being of my baby. Grief had to come out in order to let the love in. To this day, my daughter recognizes the songs from my homelands, the songs my mother sang to me, a powerful example of Indigenous kinship continuing on after death. My mother raised me from a place of her own colonial pain, but ultimately my mother gave me the tools for how to be a mother from a place of Indigenous love, the ultimate weapon in destroying colonialism. Healing my relationship with my mother, freeing myself from the confines of generations of colonial created pain, was the key to raising my daughter the best way I knew how. Indigenous kinship practices like disengaging from authoritarian parenting patterns and acknowledging my daughter's voice and love of learning on the land is now our family's life force. It is everything.
Sometimes I still grieve my mother, and I cry in front of my daughter. At the age of 2, River Jackson will stare at me. I'm not sure how you say that. Quizzically, and I will explain to her, "I miss you, Mama." And sometimes mamas have to cry too. She will pat my shoulder and go on her way. However, my daughter feels afraid or upset. We remind her to express and release any emotion she feels. She is already learning behaviors of emotional expression, and that honors her
autonomy
and also
unties
generations of
colonially
influenced parenting. I am showing my daughter through songs from her homelands, through words in both Cree and Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, and ultimately through the fearless expression of human emotion. That is herself in every emotional...
That to be herself...
in every emotion of
expression of her being...
is absolutely amazing. Because by emotionally letting go, we as Indigenous peoples will fundamentally rise.
So that was an amazing contribution by Andrea Landry. And she's a mother, a professor, a therapist, an Indigenous rights defender who, as you can see, prioritizes Indigenous ways of living.
Yes.
So thank you to her for that piece.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm sorry about my reading right now today. It seems like it's not doing so good. So I'm sorry about that. I'm glad that I had my auntie here to help me. So... thank you. So right now we're going to play Savage Daughter by
Ekaterina, Shelehova.
Thank you. So let me pull this up for you guys, and
I'm sure you're going to recognize
yes.
this one. It's a very, very strong anthem, really.
Yes, so here it is. Hook ya!
I am my mother's savage daughter, the one who runs barefoot, cursing sharp stones. I am my mother's savage daughter. I will not cut my hair. I will not lower my voice. My mother's child is a savage. She looks for her romance in the colors of stones, in the faces of cats, in the falling of feathers, in the dancing of fire, in the curve of old bones. I am my mother's savage daughter, the one who runs barefoot, cursing sharp stones. I am my mother's savage daughter. I will not cut my hair. I will not lower my voice. My mother's child dances in the darkness. She sings heathen songs by the light of the moon, and watches the stars and renames the planets, and dreams she can reach them with a song and a broom. Forth out of darkness into this world, through blood, through pain, and deep in our bones the old songs are waking. So sing them with voices of thunder and rain. We are our mother's savage daughters, the one who runs barefoot, cursing sharp stones. We are our mother's savage daughters. We will not cut our hair. We will not lower our voice.
Look ya! So, Vern Foster is a man of many gifts, a teacher, a motivational speaker, activist, actor, counselor, who speaks from his living experiences to make change. So, let's listen to as what he shares his insights on healing. So, let's get that up and listen. Where's the mouse here? Up here, I think. Yeah. So, here he is. Look, yeah!
My name is Vernon Foster, and I am a full-blooded Klamath Modoc Indian. The Klamath Modoc people reside in the state of Oregon, so this is the state in which I was born. At a very early age, since I was placed in various foster homes, one of the foster homes ended up to be in Minnesota, and I was with a Native family, and that was my first introduction to the Native people. Because prior to that, the homes that I resided in were not Native people. They had no idea about the culture as well as myself at such a young age. So I basically had to discover being a Native person, and I did it through this Native family that took me in as a foster boy. They were involved with tradition and culture, and they would attend ceremonies. And being at the age I was at that time, for medicine men and women, I started to learn Native culture in a different way than I ever knew was possible, I guess, because my contact or my visual contact with Native people has always been television. And this was an opportunity to get first-hand experience from real Native people in a real Native setting. And so at the age of 17, I went on my first vision quest, and working with the medicine men at that time, I learned many things, many ceremonies, and many ways on the spiritual road, which eventually helped me overcome my depression, helped me overcome some of the battles I was facing in my own personal life. So as my life kind of progressed, I became an actor for many years in Hollywood, and I eventually became a private investigator, keeping my background issues in the back of my mind. And what I went through, I got involved with the mental health program, went to college for psychology and family therapy, and that helped me to move into a professional career as a counselor, as a therapist. The difference was I was taking traditional concepts, traditional ideas, and implementing them into the field of psychology. So where that really actually took me was to understand that Native people have always had a psychology, but it was more traditional. You know, today's psychology, textbook psychology, if you will, concentrates on the mind and the thought process, whereas traditional psychology deals with the heart and the heart process, feelings and emotions, and what that really means in the traditional content. So I started to develop exercises, physical exercises that could be shared not just in our Native community, but also with the states and with federal programs. And from there, I kind of just started to work in the mental health field and found some programs, youth programs, adult programs, dealing with addictions, dealing with social issues that we face today. In doing that, it led me, I'm kind of jumping ahead here, it led me to where my life is today. Prior to being here in Brazil, I was traveling all throughout Europe, Japan, and different places of the world, sharing not only the traditional concepts, philosophy, ideas of Native people, spirituality, but how to implement those teachings into daily life, how we can overcome some of the obstacles that we face today. We're in a world that is faced with a magnitude of domestic violence, of addiction, of self-inflicted depressions. And what I've discovered just recently in the last 10 years, I started working with what I refer to as past cultural historic trauma. The seventh generation, a Native American concept, deals with this. And I've been able to take that seventh generation concept and begin to work on a healing process of our past generational historic trauma. Now, I've been around the world, so I hear many people talking about past cultural traumas, but in the sense that it becomes a blaming, a justification to blame our current issues, our current problems that we face today on our ancestry. Well, some of that, yes, it does come from that. But we have an opportunity to heal. We have an opportunity to empty the bucket that has been handed down, and the bucket we inherited with the pain and the sorrow of our past generations. And I come to the conclusion that if we empty that bucket, because we today have the means, we have the know-how, we have the knowledge, we have the wisdom, and we have the tools to do it. So we empty that bucket of the past generations, we can let our ancestors rest in peace and stop digging them up to blame our problems on them. And we can live the happy life that they wish they could have lived. because I look at those generations and I put it in a time frame. I look what was happening in the period of time of my great-great-grandmother and grandfather. Then I look at the time period of what was happening during my grandmother and my grandfather's time. And then I look closer to my mother and my father, and I see what was happening, what led to alcohol, those things. So when I start to empty that bucket as the seventh generation, my ancestors, my relatives behind me can rest in peace, and I can live the life that they probably wish that they could have lived. The reason it's important for me to empty that bucket using that concept is because now I have 2 daughters. And emptying that bucket, I know exactly what my daughters are going to inherit. They're going to inherit the knowledge and the wisdom to deal with problems and situations in their life. And it's going to be carried on to my grandson and my granddaughters and my great-granddaughter and great-grandson who are not in this world yet. That is the 7th generation. 3 generations behind us, 3 generations ahead of us, and me at the top is the 7th generation. Soon I will step down and take my parents' place, and my daughters will step into my place and be in the next 7th generation. For it rotates, it continues. So I've been able to work successfully, I may add, working with psychologists, therapists, doctors, medical doctors, because if we look at those fields, they're very intellectual fields. So I help them to understand what intuitive healing is, how we use the heart, how we can heal ourselves, how we can begin to heal the processes which has taken mankind eons to discover that he can heal himself. And so as we begin to implement our native teachings and our native ideas and concepts and philosophies into everyday society, people begin to understand it's a very simple process. The simple process is just living your life who you are. And when I say that, many people become their sickness. They carry on the personality of their sickness. So their sickness takes control of their life, whether that sickness be some kind of medical sickness or, most importantly, emotional sickness. So a depressed person becomes so depressed, so down, that depression begins to dictate to them how to feel, what to feel, what to do, how to do it. And that person that is inflicted by that listens to depression. Because myself, I'm one of those examples. Let me give you a little quick story. I was sitting in my flat, and I was just minding my own business, and I got a knock on the door, and I opened the door, and there's depression. Didn't say good morning, didn't say hello, how you doing? It just came in, and it went all through my flat, told me what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and it did whatever it wanted, and I let it. And when it was finished with me, it just got up and left. Didn't say thank you, didn't say goodbye, didn't see you later. It just left. A few weeks later went by, and another knock on the door. I open it, and there's depression. Depression standing there with the whole box full of groceries. He goes into my kitchen, takes everything I like to eat out, and puts everything in the cupboard that he likes. Again, took over my house, and when he was finished, left. No thank you, no goodbye, no see you later. A few months went by, and I got a knock on the door, and there's depression. And he's holding a suitcase, clothes, and he goes to my closet, takes out my bright-colored shirts, hangs up all his black clothes, makes himself at home, tells me what to do, when to do it, how to do it. And I did it. I did everything depression asked. And then in the morning, I was sitting at the table drinking coffee, and depression came in. I knew what depression wanted me to do next, but I already tried it. It didn't work. So I looked depression in the eyes, and I said, sit down. We need to have a talk. Depression came and sat down. And I said, listen, you're welcome to come here anytime you want. Anytime you want to come, you're welcome. But when you do, you have to follow my rules. And with that, Depression stood up, looked at me and said, I respect you. I asked Depression, why do you respect me? And Depression's answer, you stood up to me. And I looked at Depression and I said, I respect you too, because I know how much power you have. And with that, Depression stood up, told me I am leaving, and he left. A few weeks later, got a knock on the door. Depression standing there, looked at me. Can I come in? And I said, sure, come on in. We sat down, we had a good cup of coffee. He helped me write a couple good songs on my guitar. I looked at my watch and I said, it's time for you to go. And Depression stood up and it left. See, that concept, that story is saying, instead of spending the years that we have fighting, pushing away our feelings, which is a part of us, make friends with your feelings. Make allies with your feelings, not enemies. Because you're only fighting yourself. You're the only one that's going to end up with bruises. Not your feeling, not your emotion. That is a traditional concept, utilizing words, if you will, to fit into something that we deal with every day. People are depressed. People are angry. People are frustrated. People are jealous. People have hatred, rage. Those are feelings and those are emotions. They are a part of us. They are attached to us. So using these concepts, I try to bring the teaching that it's time to surrender. It's time to make friends with your feelings, because making friends with your feelings, you make friends with yourself. That's just one of the many exercises that I've come up with, that I've been able to share in circles and in different programs. If you're coming to a retreat or a workshop, work it. Do the work. Don't come expecting everything to be ready for you and enjoy that weekend, and when it's over, 2 weeks later, you're back into your depressive state, you're back into your emotional state. The ceremony should be with you. It should be in your heart. When you're at that ceremony, when you're at that workshop, that retreat, you should be putting it inside your heart so that you could take it into that other world. Because just like us Native people, if you're walking this spiritual road, you're walking in two worlds. Put both feet in the intuitive world of ceremony, both feet in the intellectual world of society. The only difference is now you've taken that intuitive side of yourself and placed it in your heart, and it's always there. Because there are some things that you can do in society that doesn't accommodate your spiritual path that you follow. You have to do it from the heart. So, in final words, remember this important quote. I came up with this a few years ago. On this spiritual path, you must be willing to compromise your lifestyle to accommodate your spiritual path. But you must not be willing to compromise your spiritual path to accommodate your lifestyle. If you are seeking something, you must give something. And sometimes giving means giving tears. Sometimes giving a shout. Sometimes giving of yourself. So, in final, I want to say for you that are viewing this, remember to work your ceremony, and remember the moment you were conceived in the womb of your mother, you were given a beautiful spirit. And sometimes when we come into this world, people cover that beautiful spirit up. Sometimes we cover that beautiful spirit up. But that spirit, it's like the sunshine. No matter how dark the clouds are over us and we cannot see the sun, no matter how dark things are over us in our life and we cannot see that beautiful spirit, just like the sunshine, is still shining.
Oh! Yeah! Wow, some very, very strong words by our grandfather Vern Foster. I've never met him, but I've heard a lot of his speaks, and oh my goodness, very powerful stuff.
I just wanted to say too, the fact that he shared his lived and living experience of depression, I have learned through my own depression that really at the heart of it is a deep oppression, right? Mm-hmm. However, that has impacted you, that oppression. And so what I've taken from what he's just shared there with those powerful words is that, I need to make friends with that deep oppression. And that may mean that I'm giving of myself in ways that I hadn't thought of before, like forgiveness, and to give up some of those tears and to let it go so I can heal and the generations ahead of me and behind me for that matter can heal as well and be released. I'm just in awe, actually, of all of those words that he shared. I wasn't familiar with him before, and I think I'm going to do a lot more reading up on his work.
Yeah, so A Womb with the View promotes healing through various means. Two-White Feather, as in me, Isaac, was recently crafted some mini talking sticks through his leadership with the therapeutic craft and social enterprise known as the Crater Shelf. He makes these items custom, with attention given to colors, animal skins, feathers, and right down to the wood, chosen to call on Pacific medicines and spiritual goodness. For those who are not aware, a talking stick helps with peacemaking and resolving disputes in a good way. Lori, Gentle Eagle, is trained in energy healing practices called Ohana, which allows for a release of inherent family trauma that is passed down through the DNA of our ancestral lineages. As always, we invite you to connect to us, A Womb with the View, makes a difference at gmail.com, if you're interested in any of the contributions from our medicine bundle to yours. Now we are here for our music selections and show us that love is radical forgiveness leading towards freedom for all of us. Hook ya! So, the first one I'm going to pick is going to be by Supaman. Oil for Blood by Frank Allen.
Frank Waln.
Everything's red. All red, everything. Everything's red. All red, everything. Everything's red. Everything's red. 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 Dead. Red. Dead. Red.
First off, I send love to Lupe for giving us hope in this Lakota Sue. All red, everything, Red Nation rising. Revising our story, they're televising. Shy of the plains, I see 2020. Poverty, porn, TV, pimp us for money. Tell Diane Sawyer, I am a warrior. Give me your camera, send pal to your lawyer. Free all my people, get them out of prison. Take them to Sundance, show them how we're living. Give youth an outlet, disadvantaged prodigies. Feed these Republicans all like commodities. Put them on the reds from the day they're born. They won't survive cause their cancer is airborne. Put them in our schools, put them in our shoes. Take away their money and give them our booze. Red, make everything red. Words of my ancestors up in my head. Food for thought, our kids underfed. Your oil is mud, they want the earth dead. Oil for blood, oil for blood. Making you rich, you soil my love. Oil for blood, oil for blood. My mother is clean, that oil is mud. Keystone, everything's red. Pipeline, now everything's dead. Keystone, everything's red. Pipeline, now everything's dead. Everything's red, everything's red. Red, 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 dead. Red, dead. Red. I can't afford to leave the reds. Government has got me trapped. The leadership need a tip, and most my tribal leaders whack. They don't want to hear that. They just want to chill. I'm sick. I'll go to IHS and get a pill. For real. Like a song without a title. Feel forgotten. Like slaves picking the kind. Forever tribal with no connection to the Bible. Blind people lying. Sometimes I'm suicidal. Feeling like no exit. Generation ain't shit. Text messaging and sex. What I connect with. Technology. Get this world to acknowledge me. My ancestors studied numbers and astrology. Dakota philosophy, keep them haters off of me. Keystone XL, you smell like an atrocity. To my home and my ancestors, I'm loyal. Build that pipeline and I'm burning down your oil. Oil for blood, oil for blood. Making you rich, you soil my love. Oil for blood, oil for blood. My mother is clean, that oil is mud. Keystone, everything's red. Pipeline, now everything's dead. Keystone, everything's red. Pipeline, now everything's dead. Everything's red, everything's red. Red, 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 dead. Red, dead. Red.
Our next one is Singer, Not a Fighter.
And that's by Drives the Common Man.
We'll fight some truth in revolution, but Mother raised a singer, not a fighter. She raised a singer, not a fighter. I'll speak the words that I know, maybe whisper ones that I don't. I'll walk in four directions, getting lost in every turn. I'm a singer, not a fighter. I can scream, but if that's not enough, sing aloud, but what if that's not enough? I'm a singer, not a fighter. I'm a singer, not a fighter. She said my favorite song of yours was the one you tried to save the world with. Wars and chemicals. Give them dumb, give them useless. Baby, don't cry, it's just our time. You said I'm not afraid to die tonight. Baby, don't cry, it's just our time. You said I'm not afraid to die. She said you found me through hell, so you can find me in heaven. At least I'll take your last breath. One more kiss, one more second. Baby, don't cry, it's just our time. You said I'm not afraid to die tonight. Baby, don't cry, it's just our time. You said I'm not afraid to die. I can scream, but what if that's not enough? I can sing aloud, but what if that's not enough? I'm a singer, not a fighter. I'm a singer, not a fighter.
Hook ya! Hand drum by Shibastik, if I'm saying that right. But it's hand drum. Hook ya! Looks like some mohawks in the beginning.
Great video.
Oh, European.
Mishnah of hip hop. Listen. J-Bay to G-Bay and Bay to T-Bay. I came to rest in the west by the G-Bay. When I hear the high rich singers hitting the high notes, it's like time's frozen for a moment and I find hope. Back to days gone by, my mind goes, and with every hit of the drum, I feel my pride grow. And the moment that I hit a wrong dance beat kicking, feel next to greatness like Scottie Pippen in the 90s. Peace finds me and I drift in, spirit risen. Only hear it if you really listen. When I'm fishing on the river, feel the presence of my ancestors no longer living, and it's like I'm with them. In the winter with the Bravo, drifting through trails we once walked with the longbows quivering. Used to have a wood stove in the kitchen, splitting in the cold was a healthy, wholesome tradition. Bush living kept us in better condition. Nowadays it's sickening how we're filling prescriptions. Somebody said that we need an anthem. I told them to keep banging on the hand drum. Somebody said that we need cash, but money can't be eaten, so the system won't last. Somebody said that we need an anthem. I told them to keep banging on the hand drum. Somebody said that we need cash, but money can't be eaten, so the system won't last. My mind thinks in tongues that don't speak. I'm no sheep, don't follow no boat peak. I flow deep like wavy creek, no boat leak. Cree hunting on the land where the timber wolf creep. Now some say that our pride is gone, our traditions and culture, but mine is strong. Some say that we should just move on, forget about the past and adapt each dawn. But why would we want to forget all the knowledge that we earned over years of lessons learned? The hardest, the time is now. The present was the future, the past is just that, but have to look back. It remains our strength is in our past. Generations of wisdom gained is what we had. We have to get it back, can't just let it fade. We can't forget the songs, we can't let them be changed. Somebody said that we need an anthem. I told them to keep banging on the hand drum. Somebody said that we need cash, but money can't be eaten, so the system won't last. Somebody said that we need an anthem. I told them to keep banging on the hand drum. Somebody said that we need cash, but money can't be eaten, so the system won't last. I see you on the corner with your head high, look in your eye like you're about to let the lead fly. Inside you're ready to cry because your friend died. Don't know how to cope, so you stuff the pain and let it slide. But it slides back inside to be mummified. Couldn't find, comes back at times and you can't run and hide. When you're at your weakest point, mad enough to fight, drunk or high, trust me, knuckles fly when you chug and ride. I see you at the bar with your head hung, bit tongue, got you sipping on red rum. Broke rib, got you hurting in the left lung. Hard to breathe down deep so you get drunk. Live the fast life trapped in the dead run. Running toward another slow down until death comes. Lost your way when the birds ate the breadcrumbs. Not too late to return, just follow the red sun. Somebody said that we need an anthem. I told them to keep banging on the hand drum. Somebody said that we need cash, but money can't be eaten, so the system won't last. Somebody said that we need an anthem. I told them to keep banging on the hand drum. Somebody said that we need cash, but money can't be eaten, so the system won't last.
Up yeah! Next one is All Nation Rise by Lyla Jones.
Indigenous people, shine your light, we are equal. I remember the days when our prayers were illegal. I remember the days when being Indian was lethal. Yeah, we had a rough past, but get ready for the sequel.
Whoop, yeah.
Get ready for the glorious comeback of our people. Oh, yeah.
All right.
All you warriors of love, all you answers to the prayers of our ancestors from above. I can feel it in my heart. Can you feel it in your blood? I can hear the sound of fire calling us to wake up, wake up. All nations rise. Rise up, 'cause now's your time. We don't have to hide anymore, 'cause now's the time. All nations rise, rise up, 'cause now's the time. We don't have to hide anymore, 'cause now's the time. With forgiveness as my bow and my prayers as my arrows, pull them back and let go. I watch them fly like sparrows. Have hope, yeah, have hope. With compassion as my shield and faith down to my marrow, I will walk the pollen path even when it gets narrow. Yeah, yeah, I resurrect. Yes, you can bet that we seen the single mama raising children on the res. We seen domestic violence tear apart what we have left. We seen the alcohol take it all and leave us dead. We seen the children take their lives when they can't take the dread anymore. It's a war. Can't take the dread anymore. It's a war. No, we can't take the dread anymore. It's a war. No, we can't take the dread anymore. It's a war, but we've seen it all before. And now we know we can change it, 'cause that's why we were born. We know we are the ones that we have been waiting for. We are the ones Grandma has been praying for. So rise up, all you warriors of love, all you answers to the prayers of our ancestors from above. I can feel it in my heart. Can you feel it in your blood? I can hear the seventh fire calling us to wake up, wake up. Pueblo hermoso, levántense, es nuestro tiempo. No tienes que esconderte más. Ahora es nuestro tiempo. Mujer indígena, tú eres tan sagrada. Traigas medicina de tu suelo todavía. A pesar del abuso de tu cuerpo y tu tierra, respetamos tus ancestros y la suya cultura. Hombre indígena, tú eres honorable y yo veo la fuerza que todavía sobrevive. A pesar del abuso de tu raza venerable, yo respeto tus ritos, tus danzas, tus paz.
Running out of time.
So we're first is Know Better, Do Better. We're going to have a couple minutes of Supaman. I'm sorry about All Nation Rise. It's a good song. We will repeat it next week. Oh, yeah. Here's the last song. Supaman, Know Better, Do Better. Oh, yeah. Woo. Yeah, girl. Yeah, now it's my little girl Rogie.
She loves music.
Oh yeah, especially native music. Yeah.
So you're listening to CKMS Radio 102.7.